everybody. My name is Kim Ross Hollingsworth, and I am the founder of the Arts and Authors Extravaganza and Book Builders Academy, where we provide a platform for authors and artists to showcase and sell their work. Also, we teach new and current authors how to write, publish, and market their books. And this podcast is a representation of the Arts and Authors Extravaganza. It's called Arts and Authors Talk. And we just dig a little bit deeper. We get to know each of the authors and the artists a little bit deeper. And whereas I can't go around to each person during the event to actually get, to meet them and to, find out exactly what they offer. So Arts and Authors Talk is here to do just that. And tonight we have a special guest. Her name is Jb Vample, and I am getting ready to bring her on.
Hello.
Hey. How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, Jb Vample, first of all, you can let them know your name if you want, but tell us where Jb Vample came from, first of all.
Well, my name is Jessica, Jessyca, and my middle name is Brooke. So at the time, I just thought maybe I should have like a little pseudonym instead of having it wasn't that deep with it. So first, JB, Jessica Brooke Vample. That's it. It wasn't that deep.
Well, I like it. And then, by me helping people write their books, there's some people who want to write like different types of books, like because I accept all genres. And like sometimes when they're doing like erotica or something like that, they always change their names. So, you know it. So, everybody didn't know your name. I didn't want to just say your name without you because you use JB. So I was like, I
use JB, but those who know me personally, my name is Jessica, and I have no problem. That's my name, Jessica.
Yes,
I ask you that you spell it with a Y and not an I, because I
like that better.
Thank you. So do I.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm an author. I'm an author of 10 novels. I'm a self-published author of 10 novels.
Yes.
I started writing, I feel like everybody says this, but I started writing when I was a child. And it was just something that I enjoyed doing. I think I wrote my first short story, I want to say, I did in middle school, maybe like 7th grade or something like that. But it was just something that I always enjoyed doing, like writing. Right. And I'm a very emotionally guarded person. So in order for me to really express myself and get my feelings and emotions out, I did that through writing, whether it was poetry, whether it was through stories or journaling. I journaled a lot, especially as a teenager. Right. So writing was just something I always enjoyed doing. And it wasn't, I didn't see it as a gift or a talent. It was just a part of who I was and part of something I've done. So when I was in high school, my last year of high school, and I was an avid reader too, still am, but I don't read as much as I used to because I'm deep into writing and publishing. But I was an avid reader and a writer, and I was getting ready to graduate high school. I was about 17 years old, and I would go to college for the first time, and I wanted to read something that I could identify with as a young Black woman going to college for the first time. Yes. And I was going to I knew I was going to did I know? No, I knew I wanted to go to HBCU. I wasn't accepted yet, but I knew I wanted to go to HBCU. But honestly, the characters to the series that's my debut novel, my part of the series, just came to me, and I came up with the story concept of the college experience, and I just started writing it. So my college life series, I started writing in high school. Yes, and I wrote that series through the end of high school, college, into my 20s, and I sat on it. And it wasn't until I want to say 2015, that I came to a point in my career, my work life, where I was unhappy in my career and the job that I was at. And I kept trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Right. Because again, I wasn't happy at the job. And the one thing that kept coming back to me was writing. I think I had about 3.5 books of the series written at the time. Dang. And it just kept coming back to me because I'm like, writing is the one thing that you love to do. So do that.
Do you have your books in front of you?
I have them on the side of me. I can bring it. So yeah, but that's what happened. And in that year, the beginning of that year, I made a promise to myself, and I don't know how I was going to do it, but I said, "Self, we're going to publish your first book by the end of the year, 2015." Wow. In December of 2015, I released College Life 101, my first novel series.
Got it.
And since then, I have published 10 books.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so
because I want to ask you about it, because I have the beginning of your College Life series, because I got these books to give to Gigi while she was still in high school. And my question to you is, you said that you started writing. When did you publish? Did you publish your first book in high school, or did you wait until after? Because I think I missed that one.
Well, no, I published my first book in 2015, so it was years later. It was 34
years later. Okay,
when I published my first book. And honestly, at the time when I was writing this series, I wasn't writing it. I mean, in the back of my mind, you know, as a writer, you hope that you can get your work published one day. But honestly, that really wasn't the goal. I was really writing this series for myself, to be honest. It wasn't for anybody else. It was for me. And that's,
so why do you think you were writing it? Why? What made you actually write it? To get clarity of college, or
no?
Or you just decided to put characters together and write about it?
Put characters together and write about it. Honestly, the reason behind my story, a lot of the stories that I write, it seems like it could be a deep issue, but honestly, the stories just come to me. The stories come to me. And then when the story came to me, I knew that I wanted to write that. Because again, I was a young Black girl going to college for the first time. And there was nothing nothing out there that I saw that a series or something I could read then.
Right.
That would, you know, kind of, I'm a fiction reader. I love fiction. I love to escape into the worlds of fiction. And there really wasn't anything out there for me to read from the college perspective with Black women characters that I could read and enjoy and kind of get like a feel for it. Because I didn't know anything about the college experience. I wasn't there yet.
Exactly.
But, you know,
that's true.
My imagination and these characters that came to me, I just started writing the books. And
so there was no rhyme or reason to writing it. You just decided to. Now, what was your plot? What was that first book about?
I knew that each book was going to be the events of a semester. So the first book was the characters' first semester in college. Okay, and the main point in the series is character driven. So the story revolves around the characters, and each book has different events that happen within, you know, the series that pushes the characters and drives the characters. So the first book really not only was it an introduction to these five women, Alex, Chastity, Malaysia, Sidra, and Emily, and also an introduction to the four supporting young man characters that are in the book: Jason, Josh, David, and Mark. But it really just touches on a lot of things that happened in the first semester. You're leaving home for the first time. The characters leave home for the first time. They're meeting your roommates. Sometimes you get along with your roommate. Other times you don't. Just the characters dealing with classes, you know, doing the classes and trying to balance classes, studying and partying or whatever else they're doing, and just really getting to know each other as roommates and eventually friends. They don't all start out as friends, but eventually. So it's really, the book is really an introduction, not only to the characters with the college experience, but it's also for the reader introduction to the characters. You start to see some of their stories and see some of what drives these characters to be who they are. And starting from book one, you know, so that's what book one really is about. And my series has a lot of drama. I put my characters through a lot of drama through the entire series. My readers will tell you. But I balance it with a lot of humor. Like I don't think I'm that funny in real life, even though some people will tell me that I am. But my character, so it's a lot of funny, laugh out loud moments within this series. Like these are silly, like these are teenagers going into adulthood. So it's a new adult series. So it's a lot of college silliness and you know, funny stuff going on, but it's also a lot of very serious subjects and topics that I touch on throughout the series too. So it's a good balance. And I like to think of it as realistic fiction. It's fiction, but its situations could be realistic. I like to say.
Now, did any of them pertain to your actual life?
No.
Based off of, or what do they call it? Yeah, based off of.
No.
Okay.
So I will say this. Some characters may say things that I may have said, or maybe have wanted to say, but and then I may have taken inspiration for certain scenes. Like it was in book 2 was a hide and seek in a dark scene towards the end. That was very funny, very funny. Probably one of my funniest moments in book 2. But I took inspiration from the hide and seek in the dark scene from my family, because we play hide and seek in the dark. It wasn't what happened in the book that happened in real life, but the scene itself, I took inspiration from what I do in my real life with my family. A bunch of grown people playing hide and seek in the dark.
Yes.
Say that. But as far as being based off of anybody in my real life, like the Malaysia character, this wasn't the intention, but she reminds me of funny and personality wise, my sister, which she knows. Right. And people who know me who know her know. But it's not based off her. Like this character's not based off her at all. So it's like that's little minuscule things, but in reality, no. It's not based on anybody. It's not based on anybody's life. Not my college experience. Not my friends in college. Like I don't want anybody coming to me thinking that I wrote any stories based off them, because that's not true.
Exactly. Well, that was, and I'm glad you clarified that, because most people feel like, when you're writing, that it has something to do with you. Like I know I wrote a memoir, so that was truly based off of my life. Mm-hmm. But most of the stuff that we write, or like quotes and the stuff that I put out there, doesn't necessarily pertain to any particular person, but we write it. So I just had to put that out there, and I'm glad you clarified that.
Because I get asked that all the time. When I'm at book signings and I talk about the book, is it based on your life?
Because you're not just a writer; your books are thick.
Yeah.
You are
they get
a writer.
I showed you 8. Did I show you 8 and 9? Hold on. You think 7. Now these are like 6 and 7. They gradually get thicker for each book. But let me show you 8 and 9. You see that?
Yeah.
This is 8.
I saw those.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten those yet, because I think well, first of all, I have to go back, because I have to let people know exactly when we met. We met years ago. Yes. We've gone to several events. You've gone to a few of my arts and authors events.
Yes.
I've seen you at several events, but the last one that we went to, because I think, Ronnie's event, I just can't leave that out for the book fest. Yeah. But at the Sister Business what is it? The
Sisters in Business Expo. That was July.
That was the very last time we saw each other a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think you had those 2 last books at the time.
I did. Yeah.
So I have those. I have to really catch up.
It's a lot that happens. It is so much that happens within this series.
Yes. Yeah. And I have to ask you, looking at how thick your books are, when do you find time to write?
I make the time. And let me clarify, I still work a full-time job. Okay. It's not the job
I
despised years ago. I still work a full-time job, but it's not that job that caused me to come to that crossroads. But it's not in my writing field. It's in a totally different field. But yeah, I still work full-time, and I still have things to do in my life. And I just make time, because writing is something that I truly love to do. And if I can make time to do everything else for everybody else, I can make time to write. And like I said earlier, by the time I published my first book, when I decided to publish my first book, I had 3.5 books written. This is not counting, when I took the first book through the editor and had to rewrite and edit and have the books edited and everything like that. So by the time I published the first book, I had in my belt, I had 5 books. So I finished book 4. Amazing. And then I wrote book 5 while I was still in the process of getting, doing a total rehaul on book 1 and having the editor go over and everything like that. So it was a lot I was doing that year before I published book 1 in December of 2015. But it's just, and what really drives me to write is the fact that I love these stories. So it's easy for me to sit down, because there's so much in here that I want to get out. So it's easy for me to sit down and just write. So I'll write a couple of hours during the week. Weekends, of course, I write more. Sundays is really, I try to designate for my peaceful writing, relaxing day. And in the height, up until recently, up until I released my 10th novel, which is a standalone, has nothing to do with the series, that came out in January of this year. But up until then, I was writing like constantly. I finally took a break for a couple of months after I published this latest novel. Because I was going hard for so long writing, and I gave myself a break, and now I'm writing something else, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I just find the time to do it, and it's really that simple. I just find the time to do it.
Well, it doesn't seem like work, right? But when you're doing something you love, it's not work.
Yeah,
and like you say, you can find the time to do what you want to do.
Yeah, and another thing is like I'm not pressured to write. I'm not pressured to write. I write because I want to, and it's the stories that I want to write. If I was told to write something I didn't want to write, then but I love the stories, and I'm writing what I want, and I'm doing what I want. So it's not work to me. It's what I like.
Yes, I agree. Now, I did want to go back to the characters because I remember seeing something. And you're very popular on social media. I just want to add that.
Thank you.
And I guess you would be. You are really doing it. And I just wanted to point out to everybody, because we're airing on several different platforms. Your books are lining your wall, your office wall back there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so impressive. I see the steps that you take. Like, I follow you on social media. So I see like the different steps. I see the characters played out by you and your sisters and your cousins. I mean, I think that's so brilliant.
Thank you.
Because I was like, it's interesting to see that you are, playing those characters out, because it's adding another what do you say, avenue or something. It's adding something else to
it's adding,
just writing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like when I started doing because I have a couple of videos on YouTube, but those videos are myself and my two beta readers, which one is my sister and the other is my friend. And we have videos where we are doing book reviews. I think right now we have 6 books, reviews for books 1 through 6 up on my YouTube channel, which is Jb Vample on YouTube. But it's like a funny, kind of recap of the stories. And we get into it because she has, there's favorite characters here, favorite character here. I try to remain neutral, but I still have my favorite characters too. So you guys, if you read the book first, because there are tons of spoilers in those videos. So, but I'm just saying, go check them out if you wish, because they're hilarious. But like my TikTok, my videos, I do a lot of I stay within the writer niche, so I do a lot of like skits and things as far as writing concerned. And there are videos where I actually do like as if I were a character in the books in the series and things like that. So that's fun because my characters are in a way a part of who I am.
That's it.
They may not be like me, but they are a part of me. They came from me.
I agree.
They came from my mind. So it's fun to kind of tap into them, and that's how I know that this series and this will make a great TV show.
It will. Listen, I love the college life series. I love when you were talking to me even about the cover, because I have to mention these covers. These covers are so beautiful. We already talked about this like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Beautiful covers. And it's like, and I asked you before, I was like, how did you even come up with the covers? This is amazing.
Thank you. Well,
without giving out too much information.
No, that's okay. Like, first of all, my cover designer is freaking amazing. I love Najla Camber, now Camber Designs, but she's amazing. And I've been with her since my first book cover, the first book one. But the concept for me was, I knew I wanted something college themed, of course. And I knew that I wanted objects on the cover. I didn't want people on the cover. For me, I like, and this is nothing against books with covers, because I have books. Books with people on it. Because I have books on my bookshelf from other authors with books with people on the cover. Nothing against that. For me, I like to, if I have a visual for my characters, like in my mind when I'm reading, I like to visualize them based on the description, of course, but visualize them how I see them in my head. And that's what I wanted to do with my characters. I give a description, a detailed description of each character in each book.
Right.
But I like the idea of people kind of seeing them, or I like the challenge of if people really see them how I see them.
Yes.
In my mind of how I've described them. And honestly, real quick off the topic, I had a reader of the college life series who actually drew fan art for Chastity, Sidra, and Malaysia. And when I say it was
wow,
not on, like it made me so proud because I'm like, you'll see what I see. But back to the covers, like I knew I wanted objects. So I gave the idea to my cover designer, and I knew one of my favorite things about each cover is the to-do list, and I came up with that. So each cover, each book has a to-do list. It's 6 to-do list that has to do with things that happen, the plots that happen in each book.
You know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that if you look, they change with each book. So if you read those,
I see it.
It doesn't give the details, but it gives an idea of what some of the major things that happens in the book. So thank you. So each book that changes. So at the I gave the ideas to my cover designer for the first book. She gave me the cover. I'm like, I got this cover. So when we went to the second one, I said, you know what? Besides the title change, of course, let's change the colors. So
yes,
it's the title change. It was a new color, and it was new objects that have to do with the book. So that's it, because the book one has the coffee because one of the characters, Sidra, she's a coffee nut. Then we had the little phone with mommy because one of the characters, is calling mommy.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, so that was the concept for each cover. Changing the color and making them a little bit different.
Yes,
each time. And changing my to-do list, which is one of my favorite things to come up with these covers.
Yeah, that is so and see everybody, this is why we like to learn a little bit more about the author behind the books.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah,
and that's just, it's so clever because we have a lot of people who are still trying to write their books. They're trying to finish them. Yeah. But these little tidbits of information is something that can help someone else finish their book or do their covers or just give them ideas.
Yeah.
And that's why we do this show. But I also wanted to let you know, because we already talked briefly about it. My youngest just went away to college, and this is my first child that actually lived on campus. And the other two, they, went to local college, community college. But she's that first one to actually live on campus. And it's a really scary thing to me. It's so scary. But she's finding her way. She got friends now. She has her own room. But she has friends. She has her own job. They meet her at the bus stop to pick her up from school, from when she get off of work. Yeah. And it's just interesting to me. And I'm really going to dig deep into these books because now I'm curious.
Yeah, now the thing about college, and I've been out of college for a long time. But the thing about college and why I really I love the college experience, and there occasionally I miss the college experience. College is really kind of like the first time you are an adult. Now, mind you, you are under the protective umbrella of the campus. Right. In college, you're basically on your own. Nobody is telling you, unless you have a smothering mom like one of my characters, or some people do. Nobody's telling you when to get up and go to class. Nobody's telling you when to eat, when to wash your clothes. So you have to figure out how to function and balance. You have to go to class. Yeah, you can do what you want. You can go out and party. You can stay up late. You can do whatever you want. But you have a responsibility, and it's on you to go to class. That's on you. So it's fun. It's like a life-changing experience. College, for many, myself included, is it's times where things changing in life. And there are times where a lot of times where you meet the people that stay with you through your life. My friends, I have one of my best friends. I have a few friends that I still have in my life from college. My best friend, I met her in college, probably like my second to last year. I met her in college, and she's we're close to this day. So
yes,
it's definitely, and I have friends from high school that I don't talk to. Well, not friends.
Hey, I believe it.
I don't talk to anymore. But that shows life changes. Whatever, people come in. But I still have people from college that I met who are close to me to this day. So it definitely is an experience, and I'm not saying all of it was good.
Right.
All of it wasn't good. There were times I'm like, I'm tired of this. I want to transfer. I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of the classes. I don't want to do this major anymore because I majored in computer science and I don't like it.
Right.
I didn't like it. Like, it was math. Me and math we don't gel right. So I didn't like my major. Hindsight is 2020 because I should have majored in English. But again, I was writing. Right. It wasn't because I'm like, I'm gonna go make money as a writer. And I'm like, I write the books because I want to read them. I write
exactly.
Hindsight, whatever. But I did like my major. It was a lot. But ultimately, overall, I enjoyed my college experience.
And I believe, like, even if I would have gone to college, I know I would have liked it a lot. Yeah. But, of course, life took a hold, it took hold. And, I got pregnant with my first child right before I went to college.
You probably like, God,
I was supposed to start that August. I found out that February that I was pregnant.
Oh.
Not that could have stopped me from going to college, but I wound up getting married and moved away.
Yeah.
So that took me in another direction.
Yeah.
But, I still went to community colleges and stuff along the way, got my associate's degree and so forth. But I know for a fact I would have loved being on campus.
Yeah. It's definitely an experience. It's an experience. It's a good experience.
But now I can live vicariously through my youngest child.
Yes. And these book characters.
Exactly.
Yes. Because I recently got to a point, because after I publish a book, I don't reread it for a long time.
I know. I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, because as a writer, at least for me, as a writer, my mind is constantly changing. And even at the time, because at the time when I publish a book, I'm good with everything. I'm 100% satisfied. I went through everything as best as I could. I'm satisfied. But years later, like, I published book 1 almost 7 years ago. So years later, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could have did this and that. So it takes me time to detach myself as the author from the book,
right,
and just read it as from only a reader-only eyes. And recently, I got to that point with the series where I could do that. So, and mind you, I hadn't read this series since I published the books. I haven't put them up since I published them. And for me to go back just strictly as a reader and reread the entire series, like, back to back, it was, to say that it was amazing, an amazing experience is like an understatement. It was, if I wasn't the author, like, I love this book, I love this series, even if I wasn't the author of it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this series, and as an author, I'm so proud of myself.
I'm proud of you myself, because I just can't imagine, like, this is a really good college life series.
Thank you.
I'm like, this is amazing. When I first met you, because you said, how many books did you have when I first met you?
Maybe 3, maybe 3.
So imagine you're at 11 books now.
Well, 10 published.
And we'll talk about the last one. But it's like, that's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing. So one question I do have, though. Okay, so these were the first ones. So I have 101 and 102. And then it skips to 201. So why did you skip? Because okay, tell us.
Because I did it by the year. So 101 and 102, their freshman years, the first year.
Got it. Okay. See?
Is the sophomore
That's
year.
talking to a non-college student.
No, and that's cool. And I don't mind explaining that because that was also the basis of my title. I did a play on a college course. You know, College Life 101, then you have the freshman orientation, and then you have College Life 102, social learning, and then we have 201, sophomore studies, and, you know, so on and so forth, 202 core principles, and then it jumps to 301, which is 301 and 302, which is junior year. We have 401 and 402, which is the senior year. And that's 501, which is the last book, the final book jumps 5 years later.
Wow.
After they graduate. And then it kind of just wraps
You said after they graduate.
Yeah, the final book of the series, book 9, jumps 5 years after they graduate. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Like some books continue after college.
Yeah. So initially when I started this series, I knew it was just going to go through the 4 years of college. I hadn't planned on writing, you know, a post-graduation book. I hadn't planned on that. I didn't decide until I published the first book to write this final book. What I was going to do at the end of book 8, after they graduated, I was going to write like a epilogue and kind of just sum it up like a couple of pages of what they were up to. And I'm like, no, that's the characters don't deserve that. The readers will probably be mad at me.
Yes, they will. What? It's like a cliffhanger.
Right. It's too much.
Just ended. So, like, what happened to Chastity?
Right, exactly. So, you know, I decided to write the final book. And for me to just have this, for the final book to not be in the original plans for the series years ago, it's the most word, it's the highest word count in the entire series.
I believe it.
Yeah, it is. But that just goes to show that I made the right decision to do that. It was a lot. It's a lot of story to tell.
That is so. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Now, we do within the Book Builders Academy, we had, I was working with Terrence Arlen about turning books into film.
Mm-hmm, okay.
And into movies. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we still have to talk about that. We have a lot more to talk about turning these books into movies. Yeah. But at first I was going to turn my memoir into a play. But then it's just like we skipped that step and went straight to film. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact this College Life series can be a movie.
Listen, my vision for this series, as far as TV is concerned, because it's so much, it's so many books and it's a lot of material. I see the first 8 books being like a show, like a Netflix series.
I know.
And then the final book can be a movie, or it may need its own season, because again, it's a lot of material. So if book 9 could either be a movie or it could be another season of a TV show. But I definitely see this because there's so much material just to have a movie. Yes. A movie. It's definitely see it as a TV show.
I would love to see that as a TV show. And if you keep doing, I'm serious, if you keep doing what you're doing, you know, with your family and everything, because how many sisters you have? Because all y'all look alike. It's like I don't even know.
We have very strong genes. I have 3 sisters. I'm the oldest of 7 children, so I have 3 sisters and 3 brothers. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of cousins. That we're very close. So yeah, we have
very close.
Right, but our genes are very
dominating.
Cousins, you may think they're my siblings.
I did.
So yeah, so we have strong genes in my family. So we all look alike in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'm the oldest of 7 children. So I have 3 sisters and 3 brothers.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing. So yes, you could have a series. Actually, you really can. And if you keep doing what you're doing, as far as those skits are going, somebody's gonna pick you up.
Thank you. And you know what? I like to say that it hasn't happened yet, but it will.
It will.
I have a vision for how far not only I can go as a writer, and how I know I can go as a writer, but as far how far this series can go. Yeah, it's touched so many readers already, and my readers. I always talk about my readers. My readers are amazing. Like I'm grateful for each and every reader, and I know that it can reach, that the series can reach so many more.
Yes,
you know, so that's one reason of many why I keep pushing it,
right.
because
Yeah.
you know, I have a vision, and
Right.
I know, and I can see where this can go. I'm just waiting for the right people to see it too, which they will. I speak things into existence, so it's going to happen. If I have to do it myself, it's going to happen, because these characters, Chastity, Malaysia, Alex, Sidra, and Emily, deserve to be on somebody's.
Yes, they do.
That's that.
So I put on here your YouTube channel, just in case there's anyone who want to go and check it out. And we also, did you give me your website where people can purchase your book and everything?
Yeah, so my website where people can purchase. Well, my website, first of all, my books can be purchased anywhere online where books are sold. I publish 5, so there's on Amazon, Barnes Noble, Books A Million, on websites where books are sold. To publish copies directly from me, if you don't catch me on one of my tour dates, which I only have a couple more left to do, 2022, I sell signed copies directly from me through my website, jbvample.com. So I sell the individual copies, signed copies, and I also have the book bundle prices for the full 9-book series, the College Life series. I will say that my supplies of the later copies is limited right now, so you might want to jump on those while you can, and I will restock.
I think y'all put that right.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if there's anyone who have questions for Jessica, make sure you put them in the comment sections. And even if we don't answer them right now, we'll be able to answer them at a later date. And also, I put the website on here to where everyone can purchase your books if they decide to do so, if they want to purchase them from you directly.
Yeah, if you want to purchase them directly. Otherwise, you can go Amazon. If you can shop wherever you want to shop. I appreciate.
Yes.
But if you want signed copies, you come to me.
Yes. So I remember you just like, other than Sisters in Business, you've toured so much. I think I forgot. I think the last one, because every time I see something from any of you, I like to share it on the Arts and Authors Extravaganza page. You were at Barnes and Noble's last.
Yeah, I was at the.
I think that was the last one.
It wasn't the last one I did. The last event that I did was the Black Authors and Readers Rock.
Where was that?
Conference. That was in Maryland. That was in Oxford, Maryland, and that was on October.
Oh yes. That was the last one.
So that was the last one I did, and I actually have a book signing at the Barnes Noble here in Philadelphia at Rittenhouse location. That's
Saturday. What I saw. That's coming up.
That's coming up. But yeah, I've done a couple of. I did two other Barnes Noble locations this year. One in August at the Bethlehem location. One in Plymouth Meeting. I think that was in May, and then I have 2 more Barnes Noble signings coming up in November. And then I just signed on. I was just accepted to be a part of the Indie Author Day at the Fairfax Public Library in Virginia on November 5th. So I have 4 more events before the end of the year. Because I usually don't do any events in December or January.
Unbelievable. Now you are in a library now too, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. So
different libraries, I believe.
So the College Life series, I don't know if you go on worldcat.org, it lists a lot of the libraries that the series is in. I think maybe about 20, maybe 22, give or take. And it's mostly at least book 1. At least book 1 is there. Book 1, 2, and maybe 3. And some of them have all like ebook versions and things like that. But books are in some libraries, so that's great. Because as somebody who loves the library, and the library was someplace that I frequented a lot as a teen after school, and so I love and support the library. So I'm very happy that they're there.
I know that's amazing though, because just to think, and you know what, just to think of your book being in a library, that is something spectacular. and amazing that, you know, just it, and you know what, only a reader can appreciate that.
Yeah, but you know what, you know what also makes that very happy as a reader and author for my books to be in libraries.
Yes.
You know, being an independent author and being self-published, a lot of things has changed over the years.
Yes, it has.
But ultimately, at least back then, you know, people are being a little bit less rigid about it now. But the mindset was, if you're an independent author, one, you're not a real author, which is I can't curse, but it's crap. It's crap.
Why can't you?
Okay, because I mean, but I'm not going to. But
yeah, this is real. Look, real show.
I hate now. Nobody's saying that to me directly, because that's that's not the vibe I'm giving off to you. Can come and say that to me. But people have said that they've said that to them. You know, if you're an independent author, that just means, or self-published, that just means you couldn't get a deal. That just means you couldn't do this. And
that's what they think.
Like that's stupid, because not everybody wants a deal. Because honestly, for what I would be
self-published all day long.
From what I see, and this, I'm not part of the trad industry, so I can only speak to what I see. But I'm hearing and seeing on social media that even traditional authors still have to promote their work.
Yes,
you know, we promote. And they have to promote. They may have a little bit more backing, but depending on where you are on the release list, like if you're not a top listed author,
that's it.
You're doing a lot of what we're doing as far as promoting is concerned. Like again, I don't know the ins and outs.
You have to. It's on us that you promote your own work, regardless if you're traditional or self.
Exactly. So you have to. So it's like, then you have the mindset where, oh, if you're self-published, you can't get in the library. No books want to carry your store. And it's like, okay, I'm in libraries, so that's
it.
That's debunked. And no, my books may not be physically in bookstores.
Right.
That's okay. They're online. But guess what? I've still gotten signings at these major bookstores.
And so the Barnes and
Noble,
you never know if they'll say, okay, well, we can sponsor a few of your books on the shelf.
Yeah,
I've actually had my book in a bookstore.
Yeah.
So I know that it's possible, and I'm self-published.
It is possible. And that's the one thing I always try to, let especially newer authors and who want to self-publish and maybe a little bit apprehensive, that nothing is impossible. Yes, being self-published and being indie, yes, our road may be a little bit tougher.
Yep.
We have to climb a few more stairs.
That's it.
More ceilings, but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
A closed mouth don't get fed. Now, you've been at Barnes and Nobles for how many times? 3, 4?
Mm-hmm.
Why not, when you go, you tell them, I have 5 books that I want to keep here to put on the shelf.
And they'll either tell you yes or they'll tell you no.
And they'll either tell you yes
you never know.
But guess what? It's a bookstore. You're coming to bring business to their bookstore. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. And there's ways around things. Like, as far as being independently published, some, and it's not just Barnes & Noble, some other bookstores may say, because your books are print on demand, we can't order them for your signing. But you could do it on consignment. You could bring your books in, and we'll just split the cost. Cool, because guess what? Your books are still there, and I'm still there, and I'm still getting paid for it. So it's a way, but you have to ask. I've been asked, well, how do you get these signings? I ask.
That's it.
I call, and libraries. I've sent so many emails to libraries. You go on their sites, you find out their submission processes, and you just do it. You sit and you do it.
You have to do the legwork.
You have to do the legwork. I don't have an agent. I don't have people doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. Yep. But it's not impossible.
And that's what people don't realize. Yeah. It's not, hey, Kira, she's on here. Hi. But it's not impossible. So basically, what we're trying to encourage people and tell people, just go out there. You have to be your own promoter. You have to be your own agent. You have to be your own marketer. You have to go out there and push these books. If you don't push them, nobody else will.
No.
Look at the interviews that we're doing. We're telling people about your books, some things that, and I know there's a lot of us out there, because even at my events, we have about 70 to 80 authors and artists that come out to each one of those events.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you some of them, most of them don't even know anything about you, and they've been there, they've met you and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the purpose of doing this show and getting to know a little bit more about you, because now they're going to be like, dang, I didn't know that.
You definitely have to put
that's the
yourself
thing.
out there, and that's a part too. You have to put yourself out there, and I know that
You
it's
have to be out there,
and I know that it's uncomfortable, because honestly, for me, I had to now I have no problem speaking about my books and being on panels and doing events and talking to people. I have no problem doing it now because I've been doing it for so long. But honestly, if you can believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Like I'm very quiet. I'm a quiet person.
Most writers are introverts.
Yeah, so it's like my first couple signings, I'm like, okay. I still talked about it, but after a while, you're like, hi, it gets easier. So I understand where people could be new writers and newly published authors who are out there trying to promote, how it could be very intimidating. And it's not that they don't want to do it, it's that they have to build themselves up to do it. It's just a little at a time. Do one thing, do one interview at a time, or one event at a time, and just build yourself up to it. You don't have to be perfect. Your table doesn't have to be perfect. Do what you can. It's like as you go on, and the more you do, the more books you put out, the better you'll become, the better speaker you'll become, the better writer you'll become. So it's just you have to take that initial step. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, that's one of the main things about this podcast. If anybody know me, I never spoke at my events. I never wanted to get on the mic. I always hired somebody to MC for me. But this last event, I did actually do all the hosting and all the speaking myself. I probably wasn't funny. I probably wasn't entertaining or anything like that. But I got to the point, I got to introduce everybody, and we made it happen. But in time, you never know. In time, I may, but you have to just keep doing it. Same thing with this podcast. I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And working with certain people is a little bit easier than, because of knowing you, than the ones that I don't really know. But it's interesting hearing your stories. And and you just do it.
Yeah.
My motto is just do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it comes easy when you are really interested in what the other person have to say.
Yeah. That is true. That's definitely true.
And
you're definitely doing it. You're definitely doing it.
We relate. Authors relate to authors. Artists, we're all in this game together. And I just call it a game. We're all in it together and just learning about each other. We're all creatives.
Yes.
Go out there.
We all have our own way of telling a story. No two authors are the same. And people, will say, well, who do you compare your books to? I don't, because I write, and that's the honest truth. I don't, because I know I have my own way of telling a story. Yes. And other authors have their own way of telling the story. And I don't, while it can be flattering to say, oh, this is the next such and such, I'm me. I'm Jb Vample. I'm not aiming to be the next somebody. I'm one of the first me. So that's
now, do you have the support of your family when it comes to writing and having your space to write? Because we do get that a lot. We hear that a lot from our spouses or our children. We don't spend enough time, and how do you cope with yours?
Well, the thing again is my family knows how important writing is to me. I have even when I didn't always have my own office space to write in, I had a desk downstairs in our den, and when I needed to write, I just wrote, and people didn't bother me, because they know what I do. They know that I'm going to take the time to write the books. So no, I'm not, in here for 24 hours a day. I have a life. I work, I am married, I have family and friends. So it's I balance it. But the times where I need to be here, especially when I'm in the final proofing stages of my books, like before they go. And I do what I call a hard proof, where I sit in here and I say every word aloud, like 10 times slower than I normally talk, because it helps me catch a lot of things that maybe we miss during the editing process, because things happen.
That's a great tip.
So I shut my door and I'm in my room for hours at a time doing that. But they don't bother me because they know what I'm doing. So I don't have an issue with people, telling me I don't speak like it.
Right. I know.
I've a lot of my family, my husband, my immediates, like they know.
Well, here's another thing. They don't understand. And Kiara, I don't know if she's still on here, but we had our Go Be Great call this morning. And I remember her saying something about like how some people, and I may get it a little bit wrong because I'm working while I'm listening, but she said something about her jewelry, because she's a paparazzi consultant, and she said that and correct me if I'm wrong, Kiara, that some people called it a hobby. But my thing is, once you start making money from it, it's a business.
It is.
So when you're dealing with making, things work for your business, people know to leave you alone.
Yeah. And I do tell people all the time that being self-published is a business, because I'm not only the writer, the author, I am the publisher. That is a business. So that, when I say that is a business, that means respect my prices, respect, and and as far as support is concerned, like I have my main supporters and stuff like that. But I will say, because I've gotten questions, or I've had comments on posts that I made, like TikToks that I made, where people say, "Oh well, they feel away because they're not getting the support that they thought they were going to get."
Exactly.
A lot of times, people support you when you're talking about it.
That's
because they don't think you're ever going to do it. But when you do it, it's like, oh, are they doing something?
That's
so it's like a lot of times the support falls off. But what I've learned is that the people who don't know you are going to support you more than the people who do know you.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
it is a fact.
That's okay. Because honestly, I want people who don't know me to read my books anyway, because a lot of families not going to read. They may buy it to support me. That's cool, but then it's going to sit on the shelf somewhere.
Exactly. But you know what? That's a known fact. By me dealing with books for so long, it's a known fact. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, you just keep doing what you do. You do. And like you said, we're making money off of stuff that we do. So it's not a hobby anymore.
It's not a hobby.
It used to be a hobby.
Yeah.
But and that's another myth that some people don't realize, though, is writing a book. You can make a whole lot of money. No, heck no. You can make a whole lot of money, but you're going to work for that.
You're going to work for it. And
you're going to work for it.
Another thing that I do let new writers who's about to publish, you listen, if you're in it just to make money, you're in
the wrong profession,
because it's going to take time. You're going to put out a lot more money in the beginning.
Yes,
and some people luck up and get it right back, and that's great.
Yes, but a lot of was a great tip. See, it takes throwing out some gems here, y'all.
Yeah, it takes time. You have to put the work in, and you're going to put out a lot more than you make back. You're going to be discouraged and disappointed, but you have to remember why you started writing. I write because I love to do it.
That's it.
And if I never publish another book again, guess what? I'm never going to stop writing, because it's who I am. It's part of who I am. So I'm always going to write, but you have to go into this holding on to the fact that you love writing.
That's it.
And always, my tip, unless you have a publisher telling you what to write, if you control your own, you write the stories you want to write.
You'll feel better about it.
You feel better about it. I don't let people, not that anybody tells me what to write at all, but like I would not let people tell me what to write. Well, you should write this. If I'm not feeling it, if it's not something that came from here, I'm not going to do it.
It's not
is that I tell the stories that I want to tell. I tell the stories that my characters want me to tell. Sounds crazy, but it's true. I tell the stories I want to tell. And it is. And it just, you have to go into it. And yes, we want to make money. Absolutely.
Right.
You putting your book out there, you want people to like it.
That's it.
You want to make money. But you have to understand that money, the money that you really want to make.
It shouldn't be your main focus. It shouldn't be.
Right. And also remember that not everybody is going to like what you write.
That's it.
That's a fact. And no matter how much you think that's not going, there's going to be somebody who's going to be like, I didn't like this. And that is okay. It wasn't for them. Appreciate the giving me a chance. You don't like it. That's okay.
That's it.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You know? So that's just little things that I keep in mind as I go on. And then I want up and coming authors and supplement authors to keep in mind too.
That's
because
it.
The industry can, if you let it, it'll discourage the hell out of you.
It will.
But you have to. That's where the confidence in yourself and your ability comes in. That's where it comes in.
Yeah, because I say the same thing with the Arts and Authors Extravaganza. Yeah. We actually celebrated our 12th year. Our crowds never, there's never been, and I have this event every single year, I've never had less than 60 vendors, ever. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of repeat people. Mm-hmm. We try to do something a little bit different every time, but I'm not going to, stop doing it because there's certain people who don't like it anymore, or they can come and experience it and, one time, but then I have a lot of repeat people. Yeah. So it's like, just like you said, you just keep doing it. If it's something that you enjoy and that you like to do, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
No matter what. But I thank you so much for us finally getting a chance to dig a little bit deeper.
Yes.
On these books, because I knew some things, but I didn't know all this.
It's always interesting when you talk to writers. Some people think writers are just these reclusive, and we are a lot of times reclusive people, and we have personalities. There's reasons why. Each author has a story as to why they're telling the story that they do. So
that's it.
And they all have their own processes and procedures.
That's the benefit of being a writer.
Yeah.
You what's in our crazy kooky heads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it works.
It works.
Because anybody who's still on here, the College Life series is the series to get. And I don't know if that was another question, and I'm going to let you go because I know we're hitting our hour. But now all these books pertain to the same characters.
Yes, it's all series, every last one. Yep.
Okay, so because I don't know if you've ever heard of you're a reader, so B.C. Andrews. Flowers in the Attic.
Oh, okay. Flowers in the Attic. Yeah, I've heard of that. I didn't read it.
You've never read the? Oh my God, that's what actually got me started. Like really reading. Really,
I read a lot of tween stuff like Goosebumps and Sweet Valley High and
Judy Blume and all that.
All that when I was younger, and then as
books.
Yeah, and then when I became an adult, I switched to like romance.
Yeah, see, and I never got into romance.
Yeah, I was like romance.
Maybe I should have. I probably wouldn't have had 3 marriages.
Look, listen. Romance for me, because at that time when I was really reading those books, I was single, so it offered some hope to my dry little life at the time because it was dry back then. But yeah, so when I was still single, so I liked it because it allowed me to escape into to say, good relationships do happen. When I was single, by my bag on, so that's the thing. Reading is an escape.
It is an escape.
So yeah, I read black romance.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. And do you have any final words for us?
Yes, actually, we talked about my College Life series, which is the last book released June of last year. So the series is complete. Online books, pick them up. But I did in January of 20. I wrote which I didn't think I was going to be able to do. I didn't think I was going to be able to write a new book so soon after finishing the series, but I did. I wrote a novel called Writer's Reign. This came out in January here. And this is a romance novel. Well, it's like a mixed contemporary romance with women's fiction. So this book talks about, it follows a character named Rain Price. She's a Black woman in her early 30s. And Rain on the outside has her life together on the outside, but on the inside is a different story. Rain is a woman who suppresses her feelings and emotions.
Yes.
And she journals as a way of coping with them. No matter how she's feeling, no matter what's going on in her life, time anybody asks her anything, I'm fine, and she moves about her day. But when she's faced with a betrayal in her life, and when that happens to her, she's forced to not only face her emotions head on, she's forced to reevaluate relationships in her personal life, including one between herself and her best friend's older brother, Chase Williams, which is a man a long time ago she convinced herself she couldn't have.
Hold on.
Yeah.
My grandson's name is Chase.
Really? This has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do. That's a name. It's a name. They don't do that.
That is so comical.
That is funny.
Chase Williams.
Chase Williams.
Continue.
Yeah, but so this,
because I'm gonna get that one too.
Oh yes, please. So this is out. This is available in paperback and hardcover. This is my first hardcover book that I did for this novel, and that's available everywhere books are sold too, online, and of course signed through my website jbvample.com. So so this is the latest novel that I have out. This is a book that I'm really touring with this year.
Yes.
This is the book when I'm on tour. This is the book I really have. I have copies of College Life series, but the focus is mostly Writer's Range, the one I'm promoting now. And that's my latest book, and I am writing another novel now. Well, I'm writing another romance novel, and after that, I will be writing a YA novel that's be a spinoff, which I said I wasn't going to do. When the characters talk, I listen. So it'll be a YA novel, which is like a kind of a spinoff for the series. It's one of the characters' daughters, who at this point will be a teenager. Oh
wow!
Yeah, so that's the book that I'm writing. That I will write after I finish this romance novel, finish drafting it at least. I don't know when they're going to come out. I'm just writing right now.
But you're so quick with getting these books out. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Well, to you it may not be quick, but jeez.
I mean, a year. I can see why these traditional books take at least a year to come out, because first of all, I redraft again when I published the first book of the College Life series. I had several books under my belt already written.
Right.
So that's why I was able to put them out like twice a year until they started getting more expensive to edit, and I was putting them out once a year because they started getting bigger. But I can see why. It's Writer's Range. I swear, I drafted that book in 2020. I swear that book has been through at least 20 redrafts.
Wow.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm just writing. I don't know when it's
that's another thing.
I can't tell if it's come out next year or not. I don't know.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that it's easy to get these books out. But the editing process can be the most difficult. Yeah,
because it's not cheap. If you have a good editor, it's not cheap. And you're paying for it out of pocket. And then also for me, I never want to rush a story. Kudos to those who can write a first, second draft and be good. Me, I can't. Like my mind, every time I reread a story, something is changing. And honestly, for Writer's Range, I changed stuff up to the last minute when I thought I was completely done and satisfied. A month before I had everything set for pre-order, a month before the book was supposed to come out, I went back through the book again. I said, this could be a little bit better. So it's like I can never. So that's why it's going to take me a while before I release another book, because I go through the book so many times because I want to make sure that by the time I release that book, there's nothing left that I want to do that's perfect for me, to me.
Yes.
Yeah. So don't look for no book from me no time soon. You got 10 titles in my catalog that y'all can read.
That's enough to catch up.
And they're great rereads. Now, Writer's Range has nothing to do with the series. This is a standalone. But again, it's a great book. Check my reviews. I have a few reviews. They're great reviews and great. Thanks to my readers and everything. But
that is so amazing.
So yeah.
And I remember when that one came out too. Yeah. I'm telling you, I watch, I listen. I'm like one of your fans in the back.
Appreciate you.
Because these are really the series is excellent. And now that I'm gonna, get now you said, what is it called again? What is it?
Right as Rain. Yep.
Right as Rain.
Yep. Right as Rain.
That is so awesome.
Yes.
Well, I am proud of you. Continue to do what you do. And I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be listening. I'll actually go online and try to get some of your other books. And I will try to read these and catch up because I have 11 books to catch up on.
And when you catch up, feel free to hit me in my inbox, because people hit me in my inbox all the time about these characters. Like, I can't believe that happened. And then they want to ask me, like, so is this going to happen? And I can't tell you that. I can't.
Nope, and do not spoil it for anybody.
Oh no, I don't spoil books. They be so bad.
Not.
I can't confirm it's not anything.
But I thank you so much. I thank everybody for listening. And once again, this is Kim Ross Hollingsworth with Arts and Authors Talk. And we will be back. You know what? I am unprepared right now, but we will be back not this Monday, but the Monday after next. I do have the person, but I don't have my calendar in front of me right now. But I will announce it at the bottom of the comment section. But I thank you all. If you go on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and comment. And Jessica or I will have a chance to, get back to you as soon as possible. But I thank you all so much. Have a great night. Thank you again, Jessica. And we'll be seeing, anytime. We'll be seeing you again soon. Yeah. Have a good one.